Welcome, friends. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. I hope you enjoy this time with family and friends. It's taken us some time in order to figure out where we're headed into the new year, but I wanted a few days to play out. I also wanted to take a break. But here we are, ready, and I think we have a clearer picture what's going on. I want to start with silver. So, guys, with silver, in the run up, we were talking about how, we will see impressive numbers, but at the same time, we have to be wary because although we hear a lot of fundamentals, and this is a perfect example why fundamentals, like many great traders say, always lags, and not only that, is not always a perfect indicator because it can be manipulated. That's why the charts are paramount, because money moves 24/7. Now, the difference between smart money and dumb money is that smart money will always rotate from highly inflated assets into less appreciated assets. Okay, sure, there's a narrative that China has been squeezing the supply, Russia as well, and other countries in the BRICS are buying, but there are also a lot of traders in those countries, and they are very good at trading commodities because that's where their focus was for a very long time, in physical, real, tangible assets. And here in the West, there is, of course, a suppression of the precious metals. Of course, we've seen that has been less the case because there's more power moving into the East, more money moving into the East. But in this case, we have to be very vigilant. I don't like this big red engulfing candle. We still have to see it close. Let me move my face down here below because we don't care that much about the face. So I want to look at the percentage. The percentage drop is over 10%. It's in the 16%. Now, last time we saw a daily close like that, let's take a look. Yeah, that's about half. It was a very long time ago, okay, guys? Back in, yeah, we saw a 16% drop back in April 2025. But that wasn't a single day. That was a 2-3 day move, okay? So I'm very wary of this candle here. If this closes here instead of pushing higher to close above the previous green candle, then that means that more selling will come into effect. Guys, we have to wait to see how this closes, but on a weekly basis here, okay, on a weekly basis, we have to see if this is just a simple correction until we move much higher into the hundreds, because if this happens, there's something that we like to see, which is called symmetry, right? Symmetry is very important, especially with commodities. So I want to show you what I mean. So over here, let's move up. I want to do this test with you. Interesting. So typically what happens with symmetrical moves, especially in commodities, which are much more easily to chart than stocks, etc., we see that they follow the law of symmetry very often. So I think at some point we have to be vigilant, like I'm saying in this video, because if this closes like this, we might see a check back to these numbers here. And it's you can't have a parabolic rise forever, guys. Okay, like I understand some of you want to see 200, 300, 400 silver price. That's not going to happen in one day's move, okay, or 1 week or 1 month. We need several months of consolidation, checkbacks. That's the nature of the beast. Do I think silver is going higher in the future? Much higher? Yes, I do. I think 200 is a very reasonable number in the next coming year or two. But in the meantime, we have to be very cautious because if this has topped, okay, then we can see silver half very quickly because commodities will sell very quickly because of paper derivatives as well. So I'm just cautious here. I want to see how this plays out. I'm not buying a narrative. What would happen if we close here and we hold this week? We could easily see a float up in the hundreds. If not, then we would probably see some more downward pressure to retest the 50 zone, the 40 zone until we consolidate and move higher. Why? Well, let's look at silver in comparison to gold. So gold did that that move that silver performed. It did that. It had to check back lower. So from 4,300, it had to check back to 3,800. Okay, in order to go much higher. It did not close and is checking back. So you guys see what I mean with the check back in price. This happens all the time. Now, whether or not gold holds on here and moves higher is yet to be seen. But if we look at the DXY chart, the DXY has been showing that it's these levels here are being respected a lot. Now, as soon as we were about to hit the mid 90s range, we saw huge move up into the 100 zone and then check back again to 97. So I'm not too sure where the dollar wants to move. To me, this looks like a consolidation until a final flush lower into the 90 zone, because when you have such an aggressive move and you see this consolidation here, in the longer term, it looks like it wants to go down for the last bit before it moves up higher. I know that I'm seeing here rounding it, and so far my rounding thesis has been intact. But as soon as we see a move lower than these levels here, and we see that it closes below, we can expect much lower. I do think the DXY in the long run will go up higher, but not until we see a final flush down. That's what I'm thinking in terms of something that invalidates my thesis. Good traders always have a thesis. They're married to that thesis until enough information feeds the opposite, and then you have these invalidation points that really show you that you're wrong and the opposite move is coming into effect. I don't care to be right or wrong. I just want to I want to move with how commodities prices are moving, essentially stocks, etc. That's the whole name of the game. Never marry one thesis forever. Okay, even silver holders, good for you for holding, but you never know how things could play out. Okay, and I don't want to insult anybody or offend anybody, but look at the Bitcoiners. The Bitcoiners have this perennial, we're going up regardless. But in the meantime, you see 60-80% dips. You know, you have to be realistic. And if you can hold and maintain that pressure in those lower prices, then it's a great idea to take profits, wait until things get lower, or buy depressed assets. Okay, that's what differentiates smart money with dumb money. Okay, guys, dumb money is essentially something that you hold forever and you never sell and you just keep it, and in the meantime you could have doubled, tripled, quadrupled your wealth. We're here for the money. We're not here because we want to hold one asset over another necessarily. Okay, guys, it's good to have silver, gold coins aside, platinum if you want to, for the worst case scenario. But trust me, when the worst case scenario hits, it's not going to matter what you hold in terms of money, because money will be seen as something that is a medium loss, because in the meantime, you're not going to have enough resources to attain what you have. Okay, there are many prophecies out there from priests and saints, if you're religious, where they say that even people with money, they're not going to be able to get access to food because food is going to be scarce. And we're seeing now in the agriculture community what's happening worldwide. Farmers are protesting because of the government challenges and the consolidation and monopoly. It's okay. I know I digressed, but let's we're moving from the DXY. Let's look at rates, because I know a lot of people are concerned about the TLT trade, and guys, I'm concerned too. But let's be realistic. I told you guys that this trend line has been respected, and we saw before I'm making this video here, we saw in the past few weeks that there was a touch to the golden ratio. I told you the 0.618 is a respected ratio. It will come into this area, and we see that this resistance has been playing out. Okay, Now, yes, there is a bull flag formation, but it is yet to be seen in terms of its uh, invalidating our thesis. What would invalidate the TLT trade? I'm going to make a video about that. I don't want to move into this. I want to make this short and sweet. It's about silver and it's about gold. I would like to see silver come down to the 60s, the 50s, because it's going to add more money into the silver trade, and this will allow for higher prices. If we keep going up and up and up, I'm telling you that we're going to hit the floor and we're going to have a massive correction. Nobody wants to see that. I know you're hearing narratives about China this, China that. China doesn't dictate the price of silver worldwide. Okay, guys? As much as there are buyers, there's also sellers. Always remember that the number of buyers and sellers are always out there, and everybody has their price. Everybody has their price. Bitcoin, Bitcoin has been boring. I don't. Bitcoin has been disappointing. I don't like this move down. Um, if we see further consolidation without a drop, then we can expect much higher prices. But this looks very weak, and it looks as if 90,000 is the floor so far. Every time we touch 90,000, we drop. Now the VIX is looking very attractive. I've been telling you for a while. I think this is a great time to add. This is the VXX, but the VIX is showing us the way. Okay, it's showing us that there's volatility dropping in the markets, and of course large money has been out of the markets. It's only retail right now, I can assure you that. um, TLT, well, we'll look at TLT in another video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, hold on to silver if you've been holding and just add in the drops, but this would have been a great price to sell. Okay, I know this was a larger player who unloaded silver. It's not the retail, it's the bigger guys, and that's why you always have to remember there are market manipulators out there. There are market whales who will change the price and will dictate the trend, and you have to be wary of this. When you see daily candles like these close, you have to be aware of the signs. Okay, this is a big player who unloaded. This is a big, massive player or number of players who unloaded. Same as gold. Look at the price of gold. Okay, platinum. I talked about a platinum saying a while ago that platinum is very attractive in these levels. I really like these levels. I never bought, foolish of me, but look at platinum too, right? Platinum moves much faster, it seems, than the other metals, and it's because it's an ignored metal. But platinum is very useful in many areas, and you know, this is a great way to enter the market if you want to, if you've missed the boat, because I do think platinum is going much higher in the future. But for now, we have to see how the charts unfold until we're invalidated. Okay, that is the overall message I want to have today. Have your thesis, but also have invalidation points. Be bullish, and also prepare to be bearish when there are several signs. It's not the indicators, it's the charts, it's the pricing. When you see, again, single daily moves like that, then you have to be wary. Okay, you have to be wary. Gold is not hitting significant all-time highs. It did, and it came down again. Okay, and that shows us that there are market manipulators out there, and that these commodities are not going to hit 10,000 or 500 for silver in a few weeks or in a few months just because there's some physical squeeze. Okay, there can always be some form of manipulation in every sector, in every commodity, in every stock, in every ETF. There's always going to be a process of manipulating the prices, regardless if it's scarce or not. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got important messages. You guys have a good one. See you later.